We fumble them on a good evening. We don't come again, but no other thing but Salone issues. Una know wetin dey affect we all. We all want make Mama we all get love for Mama Salone, but depending on how that love they go, or how we see them, or wetin we feel say na love for Mama Salone, we no go dictate to people, but na ya so we dey sit down for talk the two, we dey sit down for look inside the issues then, and we dey do am so uncompromisingly. We no dey look face what we dey do am, because they say tell friend true, not ever spoil friendship. Today, una all don wait for this evening time, and like I promise una, the man in self dey na ya so, not to Matilda they can't talk o. Na in self they can explain to we. Na in self they can sit down and tell we wetin push am for do this thing where e dey do so, for make we all come inside and get awareness, make we all know wetin dey happen na we country, make we all be plugged in, make we all join am, and make we not sit down no more and say, I no be know if I be know. Well, guess what? The days of if I be know done. Now we all need for know something. So I present to you this evening an unfiltered conversation with Mr. Chernoh Alpha. Tell una who that na him. So, Mr. Ba, welcome to the show. Tell Fambul den Adu and make we begin.
Thank you very much, Matilda. Very much happy for there. Fambul, good evening. It's difficult to say good evening because you don't know from where people they watch, but I send my greetings to everyone, and I very much appreciate for the this platform, and look forward to the conversation.
Indeed. So, Fambul them, as una all know, inside month we done last month, January 18, we all wake up to one bebe news where people they say, this not true, na so it be, not so it be. But the more than they read, the more people then they vex. The more than they read, then they vex. They say, no, but not so, but this why I so not to true, but this why I so something must be inside. But like the author, we been pulled that writing, they say, he say, I be no say, people then go question, then go say where the evidence. So wetin he do? He always demo. He just sit down and wait. January 25, I pull another one back. He said, because I be no say, una go ask me for evidence. So una look the evidence then. Una self decide for una self. Mr. Ba, without I not waste much time, I want to ask you this question. So on February 23rd, 2020, you write an article. Inside that article, you make very poignant statements them, sober statements them. You say, actually, there is no one in the current SLPP government, including Julius Maada Bio, who I don't know directly. I have had at least some interactions with. Some of these angry SLPP individuals are my very own FBC classmates. And because we all sat together in certain quarters and shared views together in the past, especially at Stop Press, which was by then an open rendezvous for opposition politicians and journalists, they assume my acquaintance with them surpasses my commitment. Fambulem, I want make una key into this word. It say my acquaintance with them surpasses my commitment to my country. They thought that because the APC, we mutually fought, was out of power, I should naturally throw my support behind Mother Bio's government, even when things possible for me to do. Mr. Ba, why was this very important for make people them aware usa you team up? Say it not mean for say because we all two na paddy and because we all two been they say this person not good. That mean for say because you can have power, that mean for say I go bamba you.
Yeah, I'm very much happy that you tend for approach the conversation from that point of view, because I think say na the basis, you know, of all what don't happen now. At the beginning, that one na the starting point. You know, Sierra Leone is a very small country, a population of now we say 8 million, 7 million, 8 million people, and we get almost, we will say, one university, if you like. University of Sierra Leone divided into various components. It's either you go to University of Sierra Leone, you go IPAM or Jala. I mean, you go IPAM or you go Commerce or you go FBC. If not to that, you go Jala. So now we talk about other universities now. We don't imagine this last at least 10 years. But why that one is important? Because everybody, because of the nature of the country and the nature of the population, we all know each other. We all know one another. And in the country, we say very few people active, so to speak. The one that we in the public space, the people that you know, the people that you're going to interact with. And I repeat, as over the last 20 years, writing in newspapers, being politically active, going to school, virtually every political party we don't come in Salone. I know everybody with it. I have met them either in my capacity as a journalist or they are my school, school colleagues, people who go to school, primary school, secondary school, or from college. So why I decided to emphasize this, that the fact that all say una and my friends them, some of una know me, we don't sit down together, we don't talk about what it take for build the country. We all don't grumble about how things then go bad, especially the I mentioned stock press. Now everybody will know stock press now owned by the late Pius Foray. That was the hub of the Democrat newspaper. Me don't work for Democrat before I go Concord Times and also now common places where everybody don't meet. You don't understand. So we don't, basically I was saying, it does not mean because we don't meet at the same, we don't play at the same playground, we don't go to the same school, me and you na party, means if you can na power, you do things the way not right. I got to close my eyes then. That mean relationship with you not mean say for close my eyes even if things that go bad. No, the country in interest, the future of the country, the future of the generation of other incoming generations more better for me, more primary than my relationship with you. In fact, my relationship with you is subjective. It's not even secondary to the national interest. The national interest therefore come number one. Then I remind them that. So basically what I was calling their attention to is that you have messed up the country in 2 years. That in these 2 years, we don't watch una. We see how they go. And some of these people, I have also spoken to them, like take phone call. But so country, they go. This is not how you run a country. So since you are not listening to it, then there is no way you are going to change. Things have gotten worse. I think it's high time that we don't have to. You understand? Somebody needs to stand up and speak truth to power. And especially now, I think is the best opportunity because these are individuals who told me, who we all sat together and said things were going wrong. And if you had the opportunity of correcting it, you should correct it. So I am so disappointed that you can be in that position and refuse to solve things. So when I begin, on my Facebook, I begin write about these things, before I begin publishing, before I begin do investigations and publish, the signs of how things will go bad were evident. Prices, commodity prices, the hardship, the violence, and all of them here. And the excessive traveling of the president, the fact that they are no longer announcing the levels of transparency don't diminish from the time we take power increasingly. Then I begin warn about these things on my Facebook. So these individuals send the young bobode who is abi small guys for say when I go insult on a Facebook page. So if you look at that article, I even published some of those insulting Facebook messages. Okay, and so basically I'm saying that if una mistake say because we all been opposed to an exuma, we all know one that one don't kind of power naturally have to support anything
Yes,
one they do. You guys are mistaken. So now be a warning basically. I was just letting them know that now yeah, this is a dividing line. When it comes to the country, my friendship is tertiary to the country, to the national interest. That if we go for pathways when it comes to the interest of the people, the interest of the country, in my view, I would choose the country over your friendship, your supposed friendship, or my acquaintance with you. Not mean say if I look you, you dey do bad, I will support you. And so I had to write that out, openly made it known. Basically, I was telling them, you've messed up the country, and I'm going to take you on the same principles that we took Anes Kroma on, and I'm standing on that same line. That when I do this, when I know say, it's not that I hate you people, I am just being the same person that you know, the same person that you admired, that you supported when I was fighting against Anes Kroma, and exposing the same injustices against Anes Kroma, because you have made things more worse in my own estimation, and the evidence before me tells me you have gotten more worse in this time than even before now. So I basically announced these things to them. I told them privately, and I had to write it publicly because I knew when I told them privately and I didn't talk about them, warning them so they could change things, they started insulting me. I even remember I get them Facebook public messages, private messages. Some of them even use this casual insulting thing. They say, "Na pampas you don't drink," These are boys
wow.
sending they presented party boys that were saying these things. So I said, okay. Then I wrote this essay and then publish it first and say, I think it's high time we draw the line. So that's what I did.
Indeed. Indeed, people, I just go on in that very article, waiting Mr. Ba go on for say. He said, let it be known to all these SLPP supporters that once celebrated and cheered my opposition voice against the APC, that the issues on which my opinions power.
Oh,
Okay, can you all hear me?
no, there was a break. If you can
Okay.
say that again.
Okay, I don't even know what's going on here. Okay, let me take it back on. Mr. Ba goes on to say in that very article, let it be known to all these SLPP supporters that once celebrated and cheered my opposition voice against the APC, that the issues on which my opposition to have become more amplified and worsened today by Mada Bio in just 2 years in power. So it don't already explain this. Say, the thing that we him been the talk about, we Anesco ma been dey na power X. Now the same thing them in the talk about now, but the only difference is that the level at which the thing then they happen, it don't boku, it pass waiting in they happen, where Anesco ma been dey na power. He then goes on to say, when we were all in opposition 2007 to 2018, SLPP members mistook my opposition as being in favor of the SLPP. I forgave them in thinking that way. In a battle of opponents, one is always likely to think that the enemy of their enemies is their friend. In the year that I was active as an opposition politician and political spokesman, I came across many of the individuals now in power during our many television and radio talk show. For the most part, SLPP supporters cheered my uncompromising stance against the APC at the time. Give me a second. And he goes on to say, I do this not as a response to their futile attack designed to silence me, but to signal to these licensed SLPP cyber vigilantes that the grace period, the carte blanche we gave Mother Bio and the SLPP has expired. It is now time that citizens speak out and hold Bio and his government on account of the electoral promises. Most importantly, I am proclaiming that the people of Sierra Leone, the importance of independence and critical voices willing to stand up to the misuse of power, regardless of which party is in office, as citizens. And this is the key point. Say, as citizens, we have the right and the democratic responsibility to ask what Bio and his government have done with their power since they occupied the State House. Contract. Why has the national currency also continued to collapse? Why has double-digit inflation continued to rise? Why have commodity prices scaled? Yet SLPP Cyber partisans have been licensed to smear and heckle any voice that attempts to scrutinize the Bio regime. Mr. Ba, I want to make you tackle this question precisely to we people them. Why it important for make we ask questions? Why it important for whole government to account? Why it important, in your own words, the carte blanche, the time period where we give them, the grace period where we give them is enough. Now you have to.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? Did you hear that question?
No, I heard you say why, but I did not hear the rest of the question.
Okay, so I will repeat the question. I don't even know what's going on over here today. You said we are obligated to ask reasonable questions, namely why the economy has continued to contract. Why has the national currency also continued to collapse? Why has double-digit inflation continued to rise? Why have commodity prices scaled? These are fundamental questions, yet SLPP Cyber.
Interesting.
Cotton Tree Pharmacy is your new trusted provider of pharmacy services in Sierra Leone. You can count on Cotton Tree Pharmacy for genuine quality brand name and generic medicines. Guaranteed refills for prescriptions issued by doctors in Sierra Leone or abroad. Door-to-door medication delivery service in Freetown and beyond. Free health education. Have you heard about our Diaspora Medicine Connect? With Cotton Tree Pharmacy's Diaspora Medicine Connect, anyone can pay for your prescription online. Bring your prescription to 17 Pademba Road. Collect an invoice. Send your invoice to your sponsor in the diaspora. Your sponsor pays for your prescription online. We deliver your medication to you. For quality prescription and medications, visit Cotton Tree Pharmacy at 17 Pademba Road in Freetown. Have questions? Call our pharmacist on WhatsApp at 030-611-664 or visit our website at www.cottontreemedicalgroup.com. Come to Cotton Tree Pharmacy. We are ready to fill your next prescription.
You can be my brother. You can be my friend. Have you been looking for a place to get quality education but don't know how or where? Canadian College of Modern Technology, situated at 1 Silicon Hills, Mile 91, opposite former Camp Charlie, is the right place for you. Canadian College of Modern Technology, an affiliate of Dala University, is a fully accredited college with a Tertiary Education Commission (TEC) and a National Commission for Technical, Vocational, Other Academic Awards (NCTVA). We provide world-class tertiary education in computer science, business administration, mass communication, business information technology, Microsoft Server Administration, networking, database administration, building and construction, and other professional courses. Apart from its conducive environment, which makes it suitable for learning, Canadian College of Modern Technology is proud of its experienced local and international staffs. Come and experience a transformational learning environment, fully equipped with CCTV cameras, a world-class electronic library with the latest iMac computers for collaborative learning and research, and access to high-speed internet service throughout the campus. And guess what? Canadian College of Modern Technology is the first college in Sierra Leone to operate the first educational purpose-only television and radio station for its mass communication students. Come and be part of this historic experience. We have reserved a space for you. You want to know more? CCMC provides 24 hours electricity from a solar harvest power supply system with a backup generator. This highly secure campus also have a canteen, student hostels with clean pipe-borne water. Canadian College offers many more amenities for our students to help make learning a good experience. For more information, contact us on these numbers: 079-630-407 or 099-140-208. If you want to succeed, Canadian College will exceed your expectations. Canadian College of Modern Technology, a place where career begins.
This na Dr. Haisibul with the Durham, North Carolina, with another edition of True Say Talk Me. This True Say Talk Me, they can present to you a gift of good health from Cotton Tree Pharmacy to the people of Sierra Leone, and also how we with the overseas go help with people forget good medicine we go help them. Cotton Tree Pharmacy don't come for solve the problem, for help with people and with well body, and for help them with medicine way they need, we go change their life. The government self not able to do it in Cotton Tree Pharmacy they do. We were the overseas, many time them, we don't get a 4 o'clock morning call. When I call they come, they say Sisi sick, your brother sick, your pikin sick, your mama sick, your papa sick. They begin ask you for money for buy medicine. We send money fiti fata because we are so afraid that we fumble and go die. But Cotton Tree Pharmacy don't come out with a way with people who will get through medication, and we self go able to pay for the medication the way they will get on time. We go help them. Cotton Tree Pharmacy, day 17 Pademba Road, na Freetown. and then get a website where go help with information. If you want call in a free tongue, the number na 232-306-11664, and the website na www.cottentreemedicalgroup.com. Then get all kind prescription medicine where you go want, and then get all the well body medicine then. Well, I can't take you through the website. So you were overseas, England, Germany, Australia, and all about the world, even other countries in Africa, you were able to buy medicine.
Okay, me family them. I'm very, very sorry about that. And I know say, in as much as we can master technology sabi master way back. So waiting happen I so na technology na master me just now. But that is not to say we will not continue on with the conversation. This is a conversation that must be heard, and we go get them. It no matter. Like can say sometimes the devil is a liar, the devil is a liar. We go talk this talk here so whether they want it or not, it is a Sierra Leonean conversation, and we must have it in the Sierra Leonean form. Now, I go back to Mr. Ba. Mr. Ba, in your article of February 23rd, 2020, you say, and I quote, I do this not as a response to their futile attack designed to silence me, but to signal to these licensed SLPP cyber vigilante that the grace period, the carte blanche we gave Madabio and his SLPP has expired. It is now time that citizens speak out and hold Bio and his government to account for his electoral promises. Most importantly, I am proclaiming to the people of Sierra Leone the importance of independent and critical voices willing to stand up to the misuse of power, regardless of which party is in office. As citizens, we have the right and the democratic responsibility to ask what Bio and his government have done with their powers since they occupied the State House 2 years ago. We are obligated to ask reasonable questions, namely, why the economy has continued to contract. Why has the national currency also continued to collapse? Why has double-digit inflation continued to rise? Why have commodity prices scaled? These are fundamental questions, yet SLPP cyber partisans have been licensed to smear and heckle any voice that attempts to scrutinize the Bio regime. Mr. Ba, I want to ask you why it been so important for tell the Sierra Leonean people and say, we need to ask questions. We have to ask questions. We have no choice but to ask questions. And more importantly so, we need to hold our government to account every step of the way. That the grace period bestowed on them, the grace period on them, it don't pass. Now I attempt to make we ask some serious questions then. Okay, can you?
Yes, I did. But I know, the thing, I don't know if that from the end more the thing that cause difficulty. Wow.
Okay, this is not looking good. Mr. Bai, do you hear me?
Now I hear you.
Okay, so the question is, why was it important for make the world and for make Sierra Leone and they know say the grace period is over. We've given you 2 years. Now it's time to scrutinize. Now it's time to ask questions. Now it's time to hold you on what you had promised. What have you delivered?
Yeah, it been very important for make that points and they're very clear because it seemed to me that every period leaders or people with power need some reminders. And not only that, I noticed in the 2 years first before this article came up, when the government take 100 days, okay, I write one small piece I post on my Facebook. I call them 100 days questions we must discuss. So in that piece, I talk about the science because initially, from the very first day, way the government constitute the transition committee, and then I begin talk about was when I see them begin come with old civil servants, okay, old politicians, people that remember and associate with the moral decadence that they come to with the politics of looting as part of the administration, and I begin to say, oh no, this is not right. This is not a new direction. This is not what you promised. So when I begin point out that many of them got offended because for them power has already arrived, that the complaints were done. So some of them begin say, "Oh, you just left for criticize." I say, okay. Or some of them begin even say it too early. I even noticed some of these SLPP supporters. I noticed some of them begin delete me from their WhatsApp groups, and they never wanted the conversation. Okay, that went on for like 2 years, increasingly. So finally, I've observed things and begin get worse. The violence at the country, the attack on parliament, the attack on the opposition, by-election violence, and all of this, the brutality. So I say, oh no. Now I think say if we've been in doubt whether this government it been too early or not, this is not mistakes anymore. They know the line along the job. So people need to speak out. So then I decide to engage them now. But before even this essay, I will not begin to write on my Facebook 2-3 sentences, one comment for one. Say no. The government announced something, I write one comment. So what that was meant to do was to tell them that is not how you do things. Okay, because initially you would say these people just got into office. Maybe there are challenges. Maybe they don't know how to do things. Okay. But for me, I've not been feel saying that ignorance or whatever, but I never wanted a situation as well where people say you did not give them chance. So in observing them for 24 months, I already see the consistent decline, the deviation from the party manifesto, the deviation from the election promises, and lack of regard for people and voices. So I see the democratic space begin to shrink. People don't become afraid for even talk. People that maybe they talk in the past don't go silent. I say, no, this is not good. So I decide to ring the bell and say, hey, you have had more than enough time to recalibrate, to think, to move the country according to what you promised. And you have abandoned that promise. And now you have intensified violence. You are almost repressing your opponent. So I decided to say, we have to begin to hold this government accountable. And then I begin that was when I was also observing internally how the government they function. Okay. A part of the public pronouncement, by the time I write that article, I was already deep in investigating the government. Okay. I was already looking at the financial operation of the government because I noticed that they did not abandon the idea of announcing almost they generating revenue, almost they generate in when they travel, how many people they travel with the president. They don't abandon all those things. So I started saying, why is this? Why have they stopped doing that? So I was already investigating how they were operating different from what they are saying publicly. At the city public pronouncements, I've been an investigator as well. They look at, how is this? So I was tracking the performance of the government behind the scenes while they say, so I try to match the public conversation of the government officials and what they were doing behind the scenes. So as I say, the two because these are individuals that I know, I was able to look at them from both ends, from both sides of the coin. What they were doing
Right.
behind stage, what they were doing, above ground. So I say, no, as you say, this is heading for disaster. People need to be informed about this because people have been seduced to just talk about what had happened in the country in the last 10 years, ignoring what was going on. So I said, no, we need to end this noise about government's commitment to fighting. They say an empty economy, the country bankrupt, they inherited a bankrupt economy, empty purse and empty. And I realized it was a lie. So for me, that was too much to even think about and to even begin to understand. And then the hypocrisy, the public performance was different from what we were doing behind the scenes. So I said, no, this cannot be. The individuals who we sat down together in, people that radio, we were on radio, on television, talking about corruption, talking about bad governance, talking about human rights violations under Nkrumah. And here you are doing worse than that situation. And people have been unable to see it because of the noise that they are also making to distract the population from this ongoing bad conduct, bad affairs which happen behind the scenes, behind the curtains. So I said, no. But before I wrote this, I was also asking them, why are you doing these things? And every time I say to them on my Facebook, like one sentence in a Facebook comment, or even in a WhatsApp group comment, what I noticed in the WhatsApp group comment was I was being deleted from these social groups, social media forums where we are. So I said,
Right.
This is a sign of dictatorship. If somebody not ring the alarm bells on this situation, the country is going to head towards a disaster without everybody. Then they realize the damage will be too much and difficult to repair. So I had to write these words now openly and say, well, if una feel say we're quiet in everybody, if una think say we all na party, we not to party, but we come to country interest to and the country in future is more important to us than even this thing that you're doing, and especially in a situation where you have proven to be uncommitted to the things you said you were committed to over the last 10 years. So I decided that this situation has to be made known to the public and that the public has to be educated, and also to remind people that there is no holiday when it comes to the question of engaging government, that democracy cannot exist without contestation, democracy cannot exist without conversation, that the path to good governance, to the rule of law, to accountability, to the management of public finance can only be made possible by an engaged citizenship, engaged citizens. So the idea of an engaged citizenship, when they make democracy qualitative. If you look all across, for example, I hate to talk about America as an example when I talk about Africa, but you see, with the 4 years of the Trump presidency, there was no break. Okay, citizens were actively engaged in the conversation. So up to the last minute, up to now, they're talking about how to address the damage that has been caused by 4 years of a previous administration, and not forget that is a part to while we talk about the past, but we cannot talk about the past at the expense of what is ongoing. And I have decided that it is high time we put what is ongoing in as part of the national conversation. The national conversation must include both the past and the present, because it's only by bringing the past and the present into proper perspective that we will be able to define what the future will look like. Okay, we cannot just talk about the past, spend all the time and talk about the past. Then it means we are ignoring the present, we are subtracting a major aspect of what we require as a country, as a people, and as a nation for move forward. National development is not, it's not something you split in two halves. So this is basically my own idea, and I felt that it would be a disservice to have individuals who I consider or who considered me in the past as a friend, as a colleague, as a schoolmate, as somebody we stood on the same platform to talk about what we think is required for national development, and allow these individuals to get away with this opportunity that they're using to destroy the country and destroy the future of them, because it's not just going to affect their own kids, it is going to affect my own kids as well. Okay, it's going to affect generations So I decided, say, whatever that I should do within the limits of my skills and my knowledge, experience, and expertise, I will do it repeatedly over and again to ensure that an other side of the conversation that is required as part of the democratic process has to be part of the national dialogue. And that is what conditioned. But before I did it, I reminded these individuals that I'm going to do it. I not just grab Paduam. I told them I'm going to do it. I wrote about what I'm going to do, the questions that I'm going to force them to discuss, which they don't want to discuss. I've announced it to them before ever and made it publicly, like a public declaration.
Sample them for that way, say the book is different for we. He said even before he begin evidencing the Yaso Canada, he said even they tell them, even they want them, even they couldn't to them. Say, then see I wanna do so, are they looking inside you? Una take them, una watch you, una sample with what you una do, but they not take us serious. Instead, they just continue. Thinking that because, like again, they all been done sit down inside one kotoku before, they all been done sit down at the same place before, and they all have been paddy. So therefore, this paddy also not go tell me to. I not cut you, Mr. Bar, carry on.
Yeah, so basically, interesting that you interpret that. So I'm learning. But thank you, Matilda, for helping me, because sometimes it's very difficult for get messages across. Yeah, but this kind of thing, I announce them to them. I tell them now, when I don't get 2 years, it's more than enough time for me to address if I be mistake or if I challenges, if not all of this. So now that this 2 years, the grace period when I've been get, that free holiday when I've been get for do what I want for do, it don't done. Now not time for serious business, not time for make democratic conversation take place. Not time for me to begin scrutinize una and ask una the hard questions. And the same question will be asked and Eskuruma. Now turn this now for ask you, Mr. Madabio, what you don't do with power. Why you don't fly past every president of the country?
Indeed, now turn this one last question.
From where you can power, think just the tranga, no more the tranga. Why make the currency, the leon, just the loss in value, no more the lost value?
Indeed, now turn this way we for ask Boku question, and I turn this way we for all account. Una all be no say when the new government take over, we now that time that we read this name here so-called spending like drunken sailors. We read this word, drunken sailors. Basically, what means say, they mean they spend money like they cement them. We don't drink beberebe one, or we don't catch boku fish, beberebe fish. So then gladdy say they not even know now auction and they auction the fish now waff. So the question when me want ask right now, in your January 18 article, you say Sierra Leone's financial law preclude the wife of a sitting president from receiving direct public funds to undertake any campaign or public activities while in office. If we law them really clearly say this, how come the First Lady access so much money from the consolidated fund? How did it happen?
Yeah, well, one of the that's a very important question, and I believe say even with Parliament don't invite the Minister of Finance. From what I read from the papers and what I see on videos, and the bank governor for going to Parliament and provide answer for this question, because according to them, in all these 3 years when they approve budget, when they talk about the budgetary estimates, what they agree with, they approve from the government use, there was no line in the budgetary estimate for anything like office of the First Lady. So for me, when I begin see, I can raise the questions and say, whether this government prudent with reducing waste and all of this. I just take the government in promises and try to see if exactly what they promise and then they do. I begin watch. And one area where I watch in a public expenditure, the management of public finance. And then I can find out, say, in fact, for example, the wage bill don't increase, government spending don't increase. And one way we then do one, that because the president passed what we call Executive Order 1, if you remember, in April, so the Executive Order 1 we talk say, now, therefore implement a single treasury account. The single treasury account, that will make sure say, all the money for then one government account. That one way for control, make minister them, other institutions don't spend money fitty-fatta, frivolously. So in real economic sense, that way make really good sense, because then it means when the money on the one side, any 1 million with the commodity, the government go know, the Minister of Finance go know how they spend it. The Financial Secretary go know how they spend it. The Accountant General go know how they spend it. So they go control expenditure. They don't give money to anybody they don't want for give, because they don't control all the account, one account. So what did we find out now? That for investigate how this one account almost day inside it, and basically whether this money, where they don't centralize, so really they use the money correct way. So as part of my investigation, I now can find out, say, oh, in fact, this single account now, it don't allow the people there for spend money way we say the people in the country know, and not even everybody inside government knows how they spend the money, because now waiting and tell the people themselves say that this no money in the inside, then people will believe. That this no more we don't spend, then people will believe. So in my investigation now, I can find out, say, oh, they don't spend more money than they take money for travel. 50 fat when they travel out of the country, they not only go out of the country, they go with loads of money. You don't understand? And they withdraw money, then 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, 400,000. Then they send a per diem. And I can find out, say, so that makes sense, because this current president will don't travel past almost any president who don't get in this short time. So the question, why they travel? I can find out, say, oh, for every trip where they go, it must take 50, 100, 200,000. You don't understand? It go down.
Yes.
And that money no they return. The money no they return at the country. So then I can say, oh, okay, this centralization of government account don't make the president get direct access to the treasury, and they take the money, go, nobody know they know, including even people everything in government. So then I begin looking at how this money they come out through travel, through, like what you talk about, the overhead expenditure for give money to your wife for running your own activities, we're not a part of the budgetary plan, not a part of the money where parliament approve. So then I can find out, say, in the wife of the president get an account with the central bank, you get an account with the local commercial bank, we're in a government account then. And at the government they put money, other NGOs they put money. So a lot of information there, in fact, about how these people run the country, who not even we just begin sample the evidence when people see so. So basically,
my own question is, if we say we run a central account, a central deposit, now from that central deposit there, if you want for do anything, the money for come up from that central deposit there under a certain signatory, how come the first lady in get two separate accounts them where it run, and the first lady's office as important as clearly stated the Gender and Children's Affairs Office, neither is it as important as, say, the Foreign Affairs, because Foreign Affairs now a very big office, because that is where through Dande you build bilateral and multilateral relations. So it is quite surprising that a Ministry of Foreign Affairs not even get 1/4 of the money we sit on inside the office of the First Lady in your account. How is that possible?
Yeah, that we say the logic for create a single treasury account in most economic environments, for cut down waste. That are the argument for economists and the give. But in this case, because you don't centralize the account, it means people that not get direct access. Not everybody get access into the account. They don't know how money they come out and go in. So now would you want for Guinea? So this now this make in some discussion I refer this kind of situation say the advanced method of concealing graft, a way for hide corruption. Okay, because now on the June 28th, where was the office of the first people for no say the office of the first lady, not to a government institution, you're not supposed to get government funding. So apart from the fact that you get more money than other ministries, you're not be even supposed to get direct government funding. But then they argue again, say the current account where they talk about, for example, at the Bank of Sierra Leone, now existing account. No, that account was created on June, was opened on June 28th, okay, 2018, almost 1 month after the government came to power with 2,980,000,000, okay, with a government check of that amount, and they just open the account with. And in the first 6 months alone, we get over 7 billion where they put at the account. That was also all spent. So what am I saying is that the single treasury account now make this possible for the president because they're able to hide government expenditure from the public and also from even people within government. There are people within government who believed that the government is broke, that the country broke, APC did not ruin the economy before they come, so there was no money. So for me, looking at the conduct of the government, if there was no money, how did they travel, all this continuous traveling? Why the first lady, they spend all these kind of activities, they claim they don't receive money, the new money they use. I said, no, this cannot be true. So I decided to look at behind the curtains. What are these people doing? How are they conducting the management of public finance? And then I uncover these methods of stealing. We are very advanced methods of stealing. And what it makes them so disturbing and so difficult for Squire. Now the fact that this is at the same time where these people they talk about fighting corruption, okay, chasing people who don't supposedly thief money. Then they do that one, the public they follow them with that kind of noise, while they loot the country in this kind of fashion. So this is why you find out that at the beginning, for over 2 years, almost 3 years now, the first lady, for example, not ever admit to the fact say they receive government money because they knew it was illegal and it was a hidden operation. That's where they hide that. Now only when the evidence of it, the material, the tangible evidence that cannot be contested, cannot be denied, come out, we publish them. And if you watch, not to the first time this whole don't begin signal, say the first lady they get money. Way back on March 15, we published an article what we call Concealing Fiscal Costs. Okay, concealing fiscal costs, basically hiding public expenditure. We say the single treasury account where the government creates for help for minimize waste. Now they use them as an opportunity for cover the ongoing theft of public money. We don't signal this, and we publish the first letter where the office of the president, they show the Minister of Finance writing to the office of the First Lady for say they don't give 3.1 billion, 3,111,000,000 to the First Lady for support the 2-day launching ceremony of the Hands of Our Girls campaign on the 13th to the 14th and 15th of December 2018. So basically, there are several layers to this where people need to understand. One, that the office not is supposed to receive first public money, government money from the consolidated fund. The First Lady, when we bring this thing out, they say yes, he tried to justify and say, we expect them to get money, but she had denied that before. Why don't you admit? Then he tried to justify, say, he used the money reasonably. In the first place, you don't have no right, no legal authority for even hold 1 leon of the country money in that fashion. Now, whether you use them correctly or not, that's a different conversation. And then we check how you use the money where you say you use, where you spend. you not spend them back accordingly, because the laws of the country they will show how you for use government money. For example, if I go buy furniture in Yuhan, I know they just go no more say Matilda is my friend, now my business outfit, I go just go buy. That's not how you do government. You they do open tender, you advertise and people then bid and compete, and you independently weigh the people, the possibly most qualified, both in terms of track record, quality of delivery, and how you call it, the effectiveness of the cost. Okay, for make sure say government no buy one chair 2 times the amount of them for buy. But in the case of the first lady, when you look at the transactions of the office of the first lady, you find out that they bought furniture alone in August 3 times, in September 3 times. So in 2018 alone, the money for furniture go up to 600 million. You don't understand, and stuff like that. Then when you calculate that again, you see them buy the same amount of furniture or more in 2019, in 2020. How can you be buying furniture for the same office? Now with the area discussion now say now 1 chair and 1 table and 1 sofa, 19 at the office of the first lady. But if you check that one day again, it's not consistent with the amount of money we then claims and spend with. So the question is, where did that money go? Which furniture? Who? So, but now in the latest testimony, because so many they call it now, in the latest version of this explanation about how this money is used or how it was accessed, they say the trouble in the president in here now. I for explain. So, but this is the thing. We don't say for the Africanist press, our objective was to show, okay, for show say public expenditure they happen. Public expenditure of this fashion they happen, we're not legal. And that we've demonstrated. Nobody able to challenge up to this point. We not only say we show the evidence of both in terms of financial record and letters. We've done this. For every article where we don't publish consistently on the management of public finance under this administration is supported by evidence. For example, we talk say the president, this government, we talk say they will reduce the wage bill, the number of people on the payroll. We say no, the payroll don't increase by 45% since they come to power. We don't only say we show the payroll. We show the amount of people who don't add to the payroll who are mostly political appointed, and not only that, their salaries and PIN codes. The entire payroll of the Minister of Finance will publish on March 1. Where the Minister of Finance one denies, say yes, indeed. Now true say the payroll don't go up, but the teachers that will add to the payroll will say no, it's not teachers, not nurses, it's your political party members who you've given political compensation jobs. And we highlighted some of them. For example, the nutritionist of the president receiving 21 million and some 100 with more than the salary of a university lecturer, or almost the 1 month salary of the president in nutritionist, what they call cook. Almost the annual salary of a senior nurse and the Minister of Health. So we show all that here. We don't go as far as showing letters and evidence of political party appointees under this administration where they receive $300, $400, $500 as consultants daily before we come reach to this point. So for almost a year, beginning from the time we are one say we are going now to examine this government, beginning March 1 to now, consistently we have published from one department to the other. We start with Minister of Finance. We showed the same thing. We showed how the customs, Nawataki, then smuggle, they undervalue the timber export by a private company owned by the president and run by his way they run by him party. But we showed that one they almost cost we the country over $5 billion in potential revenues. We show that we commodity. We show the fact say even in civil aviation, foreign travel taxes that are being collected are not being paid into the banks, into the Consolidated Revenue Fund. We show that one day we commodity. So we don't go from maritime administration to NATCOM. We show even telephone companies almost they owe in debts like Africell, billions in corporate taxes that they're not paying. Government the collector instead, then they take Africell go bill clock tower, the balance money take and put it in their pocket there. All these ones we've been showing this consistently we don't come now to the office of the First Lady and the President. How much money they spend in travel, how much money they take go Lebanon, all of this. So basically for us, we don't persistently we call the people their attention to this conversation. It's so interesting that it took almost now a year before the people of Sierra Leone begin understand and begin engage in this kind of conversation, because for the most part, the noise of the regime, the noise of the current administration, they stampede people and voices. For them, corruption no exists. For them, the MCC or whichever organization nain get the right for tell whether corrupt or not. Even when they present the evidence based on their own documents, then they still contestant. So it's not just this thing not starting with Office of the First Lady. We've been showing department by department, agency by agency. We show even you building 3 ministries, maybe we account for 21 billion. So we don't call this investigation the missing billion series. We've been showing department, agency, ministry by ministry, officials, and each time the government, they either they say a mistake, legislative mistake in the case of the timber, or they begin call a sensation, or they begin say that we don't hold the people in trade, as in the case of civil aviation, where you saw these anti-corruption people coming out and saying no, that we don't hold the people in trade in an old case. It can be in a new one. So this is an ongoing, we've been doing this for 12 months. So for answer your question, really, the underlying fact we want to tell the people of Sierra Leone, there is endemic corruption under this administration, ongoing in a monumental fashion. And if we aggregate in these 2.5 years, almost 3 years now for this administration, you find out that the corruption that they reported in the white paper and Commission for Inquiry is almost 2 times less now to what we're talking about with this administration in less than 3 years.
Cotton Tree Pharmacy is your new trusted provider of pharmacy services in Sierra Leone. You can count on Cotton Tree Pharmacy for genuine quality brand name and generic medicines. Guaranteed refills for prescriptions issued by doctors in Sierra Leone or abroad. Door-to-door medication delivery service in Freetown and beyond. Free health education. Have you heard about our Diaspora Medicine Connect? With Cotton Tree Pharmacy's Diaspora Medicine Connect, anyone can pay for your prescription online. Bring your prescription to 17 Pademba Road. Collect an invoice. Send your invoice to your sponsor in the diaspora. Your sponsor pays for your prescription online. We deliver your medication to you. For quality prescription and medications, visit Cotton Tree Pharmacy at 17 Pademba Road in Freetown. Have questions? Call our pharmacist on WhatsApp at 030-611-664 or visit our website at www.cottontreemedicalgroup.com. Come to Cotton Tree Pharmacy. We are ready to fill your next prescription.
Let's see for you family. This now the website they work. This now the website for Cotton Tree Pharmacy. The address na 17 Pademba Road, Freetown, Sierra Leone. The telephone number na Freetown na 232-306-11664. The telephone number for WhatsApp and for call in America now 202-361-9155. And if you want to send email, you go send the email to customer service at cottentreemedicalgroup.com. So how this fine websites they work for the one way they Freetown and for the one way they America. Well, when you can at this website, first of all, you get for type in www.cottentreemedicalgroup.com www.cottentreemedicalgroup.com, and then when you can at this website, you go click on the menu. When you click at the menu, like here I go tell you the prescription process. So the prescription process is simply to tell you how it work. So as I may not say, Cotton-Tree Pharmacy now the only pharmacy na Sierra Leone way it require you for buy prescription, because they want to make sure say they do the right thing and people and get the right medication. So the first thing what you go do, you go take the doctor in prescription way right to the pharmacy na number 17 Pademba Road, Freetown. So if you get patients with sick na Freetown and you do overseas, tell and let them take her to a doctor. The way the doctor write the prescription, they take the prescription go na 17 Pademba Road. When they take the prescription go na 17 Pademba Road, then go take the prescription, then put on a computer, and then create what you call an invoice. Now the paper way you fumble with the overseas go use for make the payment. Then go give the family name with it na America, na England, na Australia, na Germany, any side and then at the world. And then Cotton-Tree Pharmacy go send an invoice there to na person there who side and there na America, na England, any side at the world, either through their email or through WhatsApp, make them get the information. Where na family with the overseas get them, then go make the payment. Then go to go now online, they make the payment. And then when they make the payment, quick one, they go left Cotton-Tree Pharmacy, go no say they don't make the payment overseas. Then the patient go pick the medication, and if the patient never pick the medication, Cotton-Tree Pharmacy go make arrangement for let them go pick the drop the medication for the person who is sick. And so the other thing I want to show you now, and they get plenty other tabs the way you go see, but waiting Cotton-Tree Pharmacy they do. These are the community outreach, these are the pharmacy, these are about the delivery. That Cotton-Tree Pharmacy they don't put the zone inside the Freetown area where they go able to do delivery and you go call for pricing. So all the way past Estes they go Waterloo, Cotton-Tree Pharmacy go able to deliver for you. Then get zone where they will get the Okada or Keke we go ride. We go care and go quick for the patient, so the patient will get the medicine. So that they deliver all the way to zone 4, which includes Toke, and go all the way to what?
Okay, family, I hope so now they enjoy the program. As soon as they see me face, they turn green. I just want to be there. My teeth transforming to a toad or something. We don't know why you are not transformed to a toad yet. It's all good. You know, sometimes we plan these things and they work out, and sometimes we and you know things happen along. But like I say, the discussion must happen. The discussion must go on. Mr. Ba, make we pick them up from Usai we left. You talk about open bidding, open tender, but again, could you clearly state, you know, any evidence of procurements them will take place with all of the different, you know, vendors them, you know, see any open, you know, tender will take place, but yet these purchases are made because there are evidence, receipts evidencing the fact that they were made to all of these people. So whose system will they run? When you talk about anti-corruption, not to something there also the anti-corruption for the KPI pan for prevent even before it happen. Not to after it don't happen, then it talks say now you open an investigation.
Yeah, I'm glad we talk about that point there, because this not just for one, purchase from one vendor, but you see the same vendor receiving money, almost the same amounts in multiple times in a month or over months in the course of the last 3 years. For example, you take AA Enterprises. You look the transactional statements of the office of the First Lady. It's not just money paid to them cash, it's money transferred from the account of the office of the First Lady straight into the account of AA Enterprises for furniture. So you see sometimes in one day, 3 payments, 3 transfers of 51 million, 50 million, and stuff like that. And this keep recurring throughout the year. The following month, it does 1-2 times. Maybe they skip 1 month, the other month they do the same thing in the name of furnishing the office of the First Lady. So these payments are not things they advertised. But not only, this is not just me saying it. If you look the audit report where the Auditor General produced in 2019, the lack of invoicing, and not only that, the exaggerated payment, exaggerated invoicing, where we double invoicing. So if you pay 10 million, you pay 20 million. So you look the same thing for the fear. You see the same expenditure details. You see money where they pay for hotels, money where they pay for supposedly for travel tickets, and sea coach, that Aberdeen taxi ferry when they use. You see the money. You see money is transferred to them. So all these transfers details, we don't publish them. We don't publish the record. We don't show receipts. We don't show letters. So basically, the access to the money, now one illegality, the use of the money was used illegally and corruptly. So, Public Finance Management Act is clear in terms of how you use public funds. Even if you were to assume that the First Lady get right for receive government money, use the money according to how the law say. It's supposed for user. They go buy furniture, use public money, go buy furniture, go at the cinema, go help Matilda, you get big store where they sell things, so on, paddy, where they go buy petrol, I hand them more. I go buy petrol this month, I go buy petrol next month. We even have a situation where you look the expenditure details of the office of the First Lady. In 2018, they paid for fuel to Demba Enterprises for 3 months. For 2019, when 2019 not reached, they don't pay fuel for 2019 to this group. The same 2019 again, then pay the same amount of the what they been paid 2018 for the same kind of fuel where they don't pay for. You get this same pattern recur 2 times in 2019, the same thing in 2020. Between December 11 to December 23rd, they don't transfer no more. Central bank transfer to the account of the First Lady was to the tune of 6.5 billion. Okay, with other money. That's why you see when we talk about the presidential expenditure into Bond and Gabon, Conakry, and Abidjan, say they to the tune of 5.2 billion. Include the money where the First Lady withdraw from your own account within the go bond. When we're talking about, in some cases, 500 million withdrawal, 300 million withdrawal by individuals like Sheikh Salim Feka and all them individuals. So even when the First Lady say, the money still on my account, I not use them. No, she had more money than she can finish by the close of the year. Whereas the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, by the close of the year, they get debt. Then account they negative over 105 million. So you see that one. The Ministry of Social Welfare, we check the money where they receive. Much of it came from church organizations where they renew certificate. There's small youth groups, the way the social welfare groups, the way they register. The other money, bulk money when they receive now transfers from UNICEF and other organizations. Government, when you see government transfer, they pass 500 million to the Ministry of Social Welfare. Indeed. By the end of the year, the money we then get, up to 1 billion. That is not because they receive more money than spend. No, they are not even getting money. So this is true across. When you check the the spending agencies, then people where they spend money, the office of the first lady, the chief ministry, Ministry of Finance, and then why are the cabal? These are the individuals where even award themselves then there. You just look at the presidential award then there. It tells you exactly the administrative cartel that has been using the single treasury account as their own, private property, and continuously they loot. These are the individuals where they talk say things are going right. So the people of Sierra Leone need for look deeply into these issues and ask them parliamentarians them at the various constituencies, may they raise them questions in the parliament and demand answers from the respective ministries and finance officials, from the bank, central bank, to the finance ministry, the financial secretary, the accountant general's department. Let them explain to the people of Sierra Leone how they have managed the public budget, the national treasury, in these 3 years. Let them come forward and deny that this is not true. We have challenged them because they cannot do it. It's incontrovertible. And what in the BN, that's why I keep telling people what we have shown, the example we've shown to the people of Sierra Leone is not even up to the 10% of the destruction that has taken place. And they know it, which is why they're trying to be silent. We not for allow the people there for keep quiet because they owe the people a responsibility to answer these questions. For me,
exactly.
I have decided to take this to the car right hand. I wrote about what I was going to do. And I did exactly that. Why? Because I take as a citizen, this is the contribution I can do to the people and the country for make this conversation happen. I have decided, I don't decide, say, I will provide the information to the people with this evidence, take this evidence, show it to your parliamentarians, ask your parliamentarians, not just them two parliamentarians we're talking about parliament, we have to ask our parliamentarians in all these constituencies to raise these questions. Indeed. Make them ask this minister for answer. We already know so they're not being approved money for First Lady. How did the First Lady of Sierra Leone get access to this money? And this is not just about First Lady. I don't tell you, when you look from March 1 at the Africanist Press website, right up to the end of January, which you see, one report after another from one ministry, one agency, one department about the mismanagement of public money, excessive spending, the looting of the treasury by a government that claimed it was going to manage the resources prudently. It was going to cut down waste. It was going to... This kind of hypocrisy is something citizens have to demand answers for. How did this happen? Why should it happen?
Exactly. I agree with you. And me family, when I know say every time we sit down, I can always the talk for say, government now for the people. Government, we put them there for work for the people. Then. That they're answerable to we. Not to we answerable to them, but just because they don't make and like for say, now we for answer to them, not to so it's supposed for be, now them for answer to we. And you see what thing they go on, so not just left no more to the one them we call themselves minister, heads of agency and government department, to even that we parliamentarians them, because they are supposed to be the gatekeepers. Now they're supposed to be the watchman. Now they're supposed for know waiting they happen before it happen. Now under them watch, work where them puts them there for do, where the people them trust, say them for do for them for better than your life. If they know they do the work, now they make them things so they happen. So like I can tell you now, this talk not get for done today. Everybody will be scrutinized. Every ministry, department and agency, we go look inside the Igbale. We go inside there, we go look, because what in pauper, like they say, Salone gets for better. Salone must better. We own generation, we no go die, and Salone no better. It cannot be. It is impossible. On the 25th of January, Mr. Bell goes on to say, video broadcast on Monday, January 18th, 2021. First Lady Fatima Bio had been receiving state funds, but she argued that the said public fund allocated to her organizations were used for what she described as the intended purposes. Una remember, say once of where them ask we first lady say, who say you they pull this money? As he been tell we say. He say, na your money, na in they use for do intending. And when you can get money, it go to a man, it go beg a man, and a man they give money. Then una remember say again, key statement where he make. He say, and then I can go to me young good people them, me paddy them. I can go bigger. Then all the he puts na the kotoku. When they don't put na the kotoku, waiting there inside the kotoku, now I can take and use and do the thing then what they do. Well, guess what? That kotoku is me and you with taxpayer money then. That kotoku, now that money where the EU they use for subsidize with financial budgets. That kotoku, now that release we're more inside World Bank and the IMF as debt relief. So what make we know for ask question? If me 1 million there inside that kotoku de, it mean for say for ask question. If you 1 million there inside that kotoku de, you say for ask question. So we are not taking any prisoners here. This not about targeting a particular individual. About not being patriotic. As a matter of fact, the greatest service you can render to your nation in terms of patriotism is not maintaining the status quo, not for Sidon Setmont. I go to the technical team and ask the technical team, make them play a recent interview done by Umaru Fofana, and then I go give Mr. Bad the opportunity, make it answer. Fumble them. Again, technology. Una don't mind me green face. Me green face not only there for so today. Una listen to the content. Una listen to the word them. Make we hear it so that we not go be, silent passerby. We not go be, silent bystanders. We all have to be participators. We all need for put we on inside the poto. We all dirty inside. We all dirty we on inside the poto, and we all go na the out and column. Na the river, na the water side go waswean. So na dande we they do right now. Let me go to the technical team.
Focus on Africa. I'm Audrey Brown. Stay with us for the rest of the hour. Sierra Leone's Fatima Mada Bio, she is the first lady and she's denied allegations that billions of leones, that is hundreds of thousands of US dollars, have been illegally used to furnish the office of the first lady. The allegations, which are made by the US-based organization Africanist Press, also say the same office received millions of dollars from the national treasury, despite it not being a public office. Umaru Fofana has been looking at the allegations.
I'm sitting in my car along the Freetown Peninsula. This is Bendembu Junction. Here, overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, is a 3-story cream-colored building. On its gate is a palm print with the inscription, "Hands off our girls." There are armed security personnel keeping guard outside the building. This is the office of the First Lady of Sierra Leone. Billions of leones, that is hundreds of thousands of US dollars, are alleged to have gone into furnishing the office of Fatima Mada Bio, as contained in the Africanist Press. The publication says the amount is part of millions of dollars from the Central Treasury that have gone into running an office which is not a public office and so cannot and should not be funded with taxpayers' money. Chernoh Alphaba is the editor-in-chief of the Africanist Press. He gave me the highlights of their report via WhatsApp from the United States.
In the last 2.5 years of the administration, at least a total of $3 million of government funds were illegally disbursed to the office of the First Lady. We were able to see that, for example, in 2018, a total of $789,000 that were disbursed from the consolidated fund to the organization. We have spent in 6 months on furnishing the office of the First Lady, on questions of electronic equipment, on fuel, travel tickets. and hotel accommodation costs for foreign guests of the president's wife. So according to the laws of Sierra Leone, the financial regulations, a non-state institution is not authorized to receive public funding.
But Fatima Bio has strenuously denied any wrongdoing.
You are in my office, and I don't think you can spend 700. I don't even know how much the money was that he was talking about. What I have here, I have a desk, I have a sofa chair for people to sit, and I have a conference table here. It's definitely not true.
Chernoh has further alleged that money that should have gone into the fight against the widespread sexual abuse of girls went into ostentatiousness.
The public money that was given to the organization for the fight against rape and teenage pregnancy were mostly spent on personal shopping needs. But most importantly, both the disbursement, the budgetary allocations were in violation of the finance laws of the country, and the utilization of the funds, did not follow the finance regulations, especially the Public Finance Management Act.
The First Lady explained to us how she receives money for the running of her office.
As far as I know, every First Lady before me, when they want something, they go to State House and they write. The office of the First Lady is part and parcel of the presidency. So if you want a table, you write to the office of the president. They buy the table and they brings it. How it is sourced, who sourced it, how much was paid, that is not my own concern because they don't consult me on those things.
So the office did receive funding from the Consolidatory Revenue Fund, but through the office of the president. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying my office writes to the office of the president. So where they got the money from, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know where they took it from.
How about when you launched your Hands Off Our Girls campaign, which is to protect young girls against predatory men? You invited some West African First Ladies to attend. Did you pay for their flights and accommodation?
I paid for the accommodation. That is what happened to when I visit them. The President of the Republic of Sierra Leone puts together the Hands Off Our Girl campaign. I am the face of the project.
So you're sure that all the procurements that happened legally, procedurally?
Like I said, those are questions that only the office of the president can answer.
I contacted the office of the president through the head of communication, Dr. Patrick Mwana. He assured me that the information minister would talk. Following a meeting at State House, apparently on the interview request, Information Minister Mohamed Rahman Soare called me to say no one would take the interview. I contacted the head of the Anti-Corruption Commission, Francis Benkaifala, to know whether or not they had looked into the matter. Not yet, he said, adding, and I quote, "The office is captured under audit and we will do our part as part of that review process."
Umaru Fofana reporting there. Now back.
Well, if I'm them on a hold on here, the First Lady say the office of the First Lady na part and parcel of the office of the presidency. And say where the First Lady in office wants something, then they write letter. When they don't write letter, waiting happen, waiting not happen, then they not concern them. Waiting is that in the right letter. So they ask and say, are you then admitting that waiting there inside your office, part of the consolidated fund, it come out? He say no, not to that in they say in the right letter. I've always tell this woman, have a spokesperson, have an advisory committee, have people who know how to answer these types of questions so that you do not fall in any unwanted situations. There are people who are trained to be tactful in answering this question. But what's funny about all this? They say the Minister of Information can't talk. But now in Minister of Information don't make yang. They say the State House press secretary or whoever can't talk. Say that we not hear anything from them. They all don't make yang. So what is going on? Is this a direct or indirect admission of guilt? And if so, we want we money. We not care. I don't care with money. We money now we money. Just like with the the anti what is it? The inquiry. Commission of Inquiry. We say we want we money. We want we money. Because one office cannot spend all of this money per one chair, according to her, one table, according to her, one receiving bench, according to her. I mean, you are talking about serious money where for don't build hospitals them, where for don't build clinics them, where for don't build better schools them, where for don't buy more buses them, where for don't pay with doctors them handsomely, where for don't pay with nurses them handsomely. I mean, we see the COVID reports by the Auditor General. Whilst people were getting 400% raise in benefits, the people who were doing the grip and elbow work on the ground, they were not getting paid. And when they complain, guess what? Then tell them for say, una not patriotic. They tell the people and where they do the work say they're not patriotic. Meanwhile, they compensate administrative staff up to 400% raise in bonus. I always say this. We have to get our priorities right, Sierra Leone. We've lost it, and we need to bring it back. Mr. Ba, I want to make you respond to that interview. Mr. Ba, you hear me? Mr. Ba, you hear me? Mr. Ba, you hear me? Okay, make I know when it come back on, because I don't think say they hear me. I think say it did, but they not they hear me. I don't know what's in the go on. But like I said, it's very important for make we they get in discussions there. I mean, I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties that we encounter lately, and we encounter very in night. I'm really sorry about that. But I promise when I say this debate not go end here, so I think say we don't get Mr. back on the line. I want to make a respond to the interview where we just play. Okay, I think since they get a bit of technical glitch, today's the night of technical glitch. It's all good. Make we continue. While we wait for Mr. Ba, I think say I go open the phone line for just a few minutes. Oh, okay, Mr. Ba don't come back. So Mr.
Hello?
Ba, I want make you, yes, I want make you give a direct response to the interview where we just hearing. Okay, let's open make we open the phone line while we try to get Mr. Barry connected, please. Just for a few minutes. Okay. Okay, so while we wait for Mr. Ba for come on for maybe close, because we get too many interference system, and I'm really sorry to my viewers them all over the world for this, but I promise you that we will come back. We will have an anchor of this. We go sit down ayaso and we go even deeper into the discussion, because there is okay, I go take the caller. Caller, waiting on your name and also you the call from.
Concern Sierra Leonean from Australia.
Okay, concern Sierra Leonean. Go on. What do you get for we this evening?
I want to tell my entire team for a job well done. I believe say anybody when a Sierra Leonean patriot and even way if you support SLPP, this is a grave concern and everybody for taking serious. And we want to tell Mr. Ba very thank you for the things that we bring out. We get evidences of documentations. We allege say this now the government or the various departments in the country don't spend. We know where they against the rules and regulations of the constitution or the laws of the land. I believe say if everybody and if any Sierra Leonean or a SLPP true supporter, in fact, if I tell Mr. Ba thank you, because this entirely helped the administration for make them put their heads up and serve the people of Sierra Leone. Honestly, no matter whether you support or not for support, waiting Mr. Ba do, it don't play a role as a Sierra Leonean for bring out evidences them. Now is the role and responsibility of Parliament and also the President and the First Lady also for come out and defend themselves. How they go do that, it left to them. But I believe say me go ask Parliament, we the Sierra Leoneans say ask Parliament because now that then they for call in the bank governor and the various departments they had were involved in these allegations for go to Parliament, if possible, put Mr. Ba live in this modern technology and go into a contest of verifying all these evidences where Mr. Ba don't allege, where he don't publish now in paper from the time he begin put the allegations out. I believe say this go save Sierra Leone, this go save the entire country, this go be another example how we go able to fight corruption and how we go be transparent to one another. So to me, if you're not an SLPP supporter, I believe say Mr. Ba help the government, to be honest. Because this kind of bombshell, if you drop them in a nip of an election, it will be a dent in impact on the outcome of any elections. Just as how the IMF be withdraw at the nip of an election of support to the APC government. So I believe say if you're not a true SLPP supporter, I believe say Mr. Ba don't help the government, he don't help Fatima Bio. If the allegations are true, for prevent and for continuously do the wrong thing, where they accumulate more problems in the near future. So to me, I believe say Mr. Ba help the government and help Fatima Bio, to be honest. Because if my other journalists like America, then kind of information they keep them. When election done, they at the nip of time, maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks, then drop them bombshell there. It happened like WikiLeaks when Donald Trump came into power. So this is like the same pattern. But I believe, say, in fact, Mr. Ba dropped the NT and too early. So I believe, say, to me, he helped the government. At the same time, he helped to protect Fatima Bio and the entire team and the entire country. Now, that's my own take. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Kola. You see, everybody entitled to their own opinion. For me, I think, say, waiting Mr. Ba demonstrates, like I say, now the ultimate act of patriotism. Because leaving it till election, waiting that means, it means that it's a political game. But what he really truly care about is the uplifting of every Sierra Leonean, is the trickling down of the resources of the cake, understanding that everybody need a piece of the cake and everybody gets rights to the piece of the cake, not just one person. So if one person continuously or a set of people and continuously they get the piece of the cake to the detriment of the greater majority, then we have serious questions. And if now that very reason day you campaign on and say, you know what, in a certain segment of the population now they no more they eat the cake, but this cake here, so we all need for taste panam. We all mot and we all and get for the inside day. Because this cake now we all bake them. Then I think it's service to humanity, it is service to nation, and it is the greatest act of patriotism. For me, waiting until election, that would have been too late. So what? They become a one-time ruling, presidency. At the end of the day, what? Do we need another commission of inquiry for begin recuperate money them and begin trace how money them, escape from the country. I don't think that's what we want. Mr. Ba, just hold it. Make I go to this next caller. Make I hear you waiting this caller again for say, and then I come back to you. Hello, caller. Waiting. Are you name and who say they call from?
Hello, you there, you me?
Yes, ma.
Okay, this is Pastor Faith of Papa Smart of Melkoch Mission International, and I call from Sierra Leone.
Okay, ma. Let's see.
Okay, so my question where I get really and truly is that we know for a fact when the new government, the new direction came into being, that the office of the First Lady received about 2 to 3 million from one of these Islamic states. And we would think say that was the money that would be used to facilitate her campaign. I run a charity working with war amputees in Sierra Leone, and I know how we go about to, solicit funds for make we able to execute we project them. Now the understanding that we've been getting, because we know that even some also received from the UK, funds have been received to facilitate her projects. In the case of now using government money or the people of Sierra Leone's money to facilitate a project in a way in which it was not openly declared until now. Thank you so much, Chernoh, for bringing this exposition, because we all are concerned Sierra Leoneans. We want to make we see Salone better. Not by power, but we just want to make Salone go better by God in power, because we've been tired of waiting after its APC. Now, SLPP now really don't give we any hope to say Salone go better. And it is about time we're able to we stop this scheme where they happen, where a lot of unions, they fled for talk the truth. The truth goes set we free. If we talk true, even if SLPP don't make a mistake, they will learn from it and moving forward know what they can do. We then now they ask, say, make the office of the First Lady return all that money, bring back our money. Bring back Sierra Leone's money, bring it back to the coffers. We get war amputees the way they die on a daily basis because they're not getting no access to funds. Even when this government of Sierra Leone says we're going to audition for people with disabilities, amputees are at the backbone. And it irks me. This is almost like money when they update. They listen to this program because we don't tire with waiting to happen in Salone. Money that way you go say you the use on advocacy, yet people are dying. People are suffering, lack of Medicare, lack of access to service. And the money is being used in a, flagrant way, in an irresponsible way, as though there is no one to be taken into account. This is wrong, and God does not like ugly. Fatima Bioy, with all due respect, you have money that has been given to you from different foreign bodies. Use the money for your project. This is what we all do. Using the money way for go to the poor people for do your project, it is wrong. If the president is listening, please handle this thing, handle your household, and make you able to take your responsibility as the president of Sierra Leone more seriously. Because Sierra Leone, we don't go through a lot. We don't want to raping.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. That caller was calling directly from Sierra Leone. Because we don't. I go take the last, and I apologize to everyone listening, everyone watching the show. I promise you, I will see if Mr. Ba will entertain the anchor of the show at another time convenient where everything will go smoothly. I will take the last 4 calls, them where they on the queue. I cannot take any more calls more than the last 4 calls on the queue. So I will give enough time for Mr. Ba for round up this evening segment. So only the last 4 calls on the queue. And again, I really apologize. I know say when I don't use the last hour of the show for get calls and ask una questions them, but let us make we manage we safe and make we bear we safe. This na for Mama Salone. Okay, I go to the next caller. Caller, waiting are your name and also you dey call from. Hello, caller. Okay, if the caller they talk, I know they hear the caller.
Hello.
So maybe if the caller not the project, make I go to the next call, please.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, caller.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, I know they hear you.
Hello.
I know say you they talk, but you.
Hello.
Yes, caller. Waiting are your name and.
Miss Matilda. Hello.
Yes, caller. They hear you.
Okay. Nami Nembendo, I call from Kansas City. I just want to tell una plenty thank you, Miss Matilda and Mr. Ba. I just want to tell una also plenty thank you for the program. Me just feel say na then kind conversation there and then kind education where we need, we as the citizens of Sierra Leone, now that we need for know. I not feel say na by mistake waiting they happen. Waiting they happen not by mistake. It's well planned, well thought out, waiting then they execute. So as much as where Mr. Ba they put out the information there, me go just want for lay the people that where they in power, let them give we the peace of mind, let them able to come out and give we answers to some of them information they are where they out there. Because from what I hear this morning, Mr. Fofana been they try to get in touch with the people that were there in power for get some answers them for the public or the citizens, but that is not able for do successfully. So what me want for know here is when they go come out and tell we what they go on, let the public know. I mean, if not something what then they do, which is evidence of, let we know. As much as when Fatima Biob in the talk say it is swear, that's where we all get forget serious for swear this way. Because the people then they suffer, if people then they misuse money that way, they not something where we all for them for begin to swear. I tell you, I thank you for the time and una efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I will go to the next caller. Waiting are your name? No, say the.
Hello?
Yes, caller, they hear you. Wait.
My name Bandy. I dey call for Salone. I tell you plenty thank you for this program on a day. I tell you plenty thank you. And the two way they baffle me, now the fact say Salone, I don't know how they go. Honestly, We don't try, we all don't try for change today. And me where they talk to me na person where they support the HLPP. And we all dance. This country, na country where you look at say, it has been sorry. Because some of who don't give life them plenty parties party business. We don't give them plenty parties party business. Every 10 or more, the same big people that they become, they can't take money, they put you for disgrace. Me now tell people, I grab the whole thing this brother too. Because what you do, now that kind of people there who they look for. What they can't they talk to. What they can't they talk to. I tell you, Mr. That this people do so. People that they suffer. This is my way talk this no of the reason even though they rhyme it they make it. But it talk true. This not the tell what the government for come and tell we what the express to you what happened. Plenty money. Hey bro, how much money did they die my free time for go bomb picking? How much money? Then they can't they the rest thing they for do, they go sit down write it down, all came. This country is such the APC to the HLPP, the APC to the HLPP. Some of you tire for the party. Enough is enough. How can the poor people always dying, suffering? The people that were supposed for reading, not that they take the money later. Let God bless this brother. Let God cover him. Let God bring more people that they come. We go team out, do not favor their life, and do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Okay, I'll go to caller. I'm waiting at you. Sir.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, caller.
Hello?
Yes, caller, they hear you.
Okay, yes. Are they call VOS?
Yes, now VOS you the call.
Yes. Yeah, you want to let me talk?
Yes, go
You want to
ahead.
let me talk? Or you want to go ahead? Another Rio.
Yes, please.
Okay. Mina Mola, I call from Boston, Massachusetts. Yeah, Mina Mola, I call from Boston, Massachusetts. And they call, I just get some few things them when I want to see. The first thing is, after I read Mr. Ba, I want to know if Fatima Naina the pay. Then I want. I know the question, Mr. Ba, intention, but my problem is Fatima say other first ladies they do the same thing. I want to know if Mr. Ba don't investigate that, or tell we if they do the same thing, even though in right say this account open in June after SLVP come in power. So, and Fatima, they accuse and say, Mr. Ba, they do all this because they deny a job. So I want to let Mr. Ba able to tell we all these other things then. And I blame the SLPP secondly, because how can you, as a responsible government, not able to get somebody who go able for talk about this graft, about these expenditures? Una sidom, una left Fatima, una send them back on that day, where Fatima not to in own job for go defend all that in the day. Me not to SLPP, me not to APC. I'm just a Sierra Leonean. Me just the see try for be in the middle. Waiting Mr. Ba say, he show documents them, one are true, and Fatima not deny say them only the day they not use them. But we want to know if they use them only the day lavishly without regard, then we forget people them way they investigate that and try for correct that, let it not continue for happen and let it not ever happen again. So now that's me just get by the two in the day. The first one, where Fatima are not see in name as a payee, and why Fatima forgets two accounts instead of one. If the government wants for make the office as a first lady office, why they not do them? through parliament, so that this thing no go bring a problem like I they bring problems to now we country. And why the government no go able come out for can't tell we if waiting Mr. Bar right, if not lie, if not to lie, and challenge Mr. Bar. But if they're not able to challenge Mr. Bar, then they don't left the whole world and the whole country for believe with exactly what Mr. Bar say. So my own just concern this way I get on this topic today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The last call for tonight. Last call for tonight.
Hello, my name is Edward Mara. I'm calling from Philadelphia.
Hey, what you get for we this evening?
Okay. So I'm really overwhelmed with the situation where they go in our country, Sierra Leone, and it's shocking to me that I hear all this nonsense that is going on. This government, like me, I get high expectations, say, then go do well for the people of Sierra Leone. And some of them, don't see the signs, and with the point I'm out, you know, if we now go back to past programs, say the president is traveling too much, you know, and some of them the advice say, okay, all them travel the way you don't do, consolidate them now, and do something for let the average man feel at the ground, you know. And also with the point out, say, the states look like a military state. Okay, we're not denying, say, you know, I mean, one says German, but this is a civilian government. If we look like them, you know, people are intimidated and all that. If you want a soldier man for be your bodyguard, let them resign from the army, let them wear plain suits and all that. Let people feel say that they are a democracy, you know. Then again, the anti-corruption guy, Fatima and Birthday, can you imagine you they go be champion of them program, then they used to be independent. You know, so many stuff that when like the highlights say this trouble they be in. Now there's no money in the bank. People want to go take money in their account, then they give them 500, 300,000. You know what I mean? Limit. That's not supposed to be. I mean, the people of Sierra Leone suffer too much, and some of we the pray say this government could succeed. Because after what the APC don't do, then this one back in the time, same one they continue. That is like APC, SLPP. We tire. Now we change. Now we like Sierra Leone. Some of you have to bleed. Some of you, we don't pray, say, hey, Papa, go to them. Now, them people are there. I tell them, make Sierra Leone now. Look, the first lady. Who did they come? Stop for being friends with Lebanese, like the one that we sell to go make clock and all that. Let them no one pay tax. They go use them against you, and look what's they happy now. And I'm so disappointed. Because the first lady, me always get at TV, they say, oh, this is not personal money. You know, start getting money. BOBO, you will get government. And that office not get no link with the president. This is shameful. I am so praying for this country, for let God help Sierra Leone. You are the president, if they listen this. Some of you they pray for let this government succeed because the people are not suffering at Sierra Leone too much. Please. No, get SLPPS, APC, SLPPS. Let one person come and do the right thing. Just do the right thing for God's sake. People are considering for the suffer. It's hard. Okay, now just compose me, say, God bless Sierra Leone.
Indeed, just do the right thing. People are suffering, and the suffering is real. We cannot escape the suffering. I go close the phone line for today. Make I give Mr. Ba a chance, make he respond to that audio day where we play. And make he give we in final word for this evening. We get Boku for talk. As a matter of fact, time will not permit us to even, get into some of the nitty-gritties. But there is always time. Another day will come. Mr. Ba, I give you the platform.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matilda. I think we don't underline the significant questions, and we don't point out at one thing for put because this area about evidence. May government come out and explain. The government just get for explain to it. We don't publish this evidence. For example, not to the first lady, not to the first person to respond to the publications we will issue out. For the case of the first lady, if we take as an example, you see say it talks say he actually they receive government money, but in not use the correct way, which we say is wrong. Okay, way back in March, on March 1, 2020, where we published the fact say the Minister of Finance get a bloated wage bill, the Minister of Finance come out and make their own statement. You don't. So we not ever publish anything we're not supported by evidence, government primary documents. So we don't do this for a year. And I think so to make it take up to this point now, why the conversation don't arrive now, because now we don't see, people will see the illegal expenditure in clear terms, because for the first lady, instead of being aware as the receipt of government funding, that we're not right. Now make it be the deny, say not be the getter. Now with the evidence come on, you say yes indeed. So I'm expecting for pull the money, late admission. And on the third admission with the BBC, say side the money come on, now request to make money at the presidency, So when at the role of the office of the president and for tell we or answer to people of Sierra Leone why he give him wealth money where he was not supposed to receive. So that one, not to whether the evidence is correct or not, they've already admitted to the evidence and it's correct. They cannot deny it. So we did beyond that one. The question is, why did they do it? And how the money was spent, where is the money? Those are the actual questions. But we can address this thing about job or no job, which I think an obstruction. Make the people where they watch we say, I never meet the wife of the president. I have never met Madam Fatima Jabibio as a person, physically. No sign of the world. In fact, by the time this government kind of power, I know I've been not relocated here because I get an offer for conduct research in Northwestern for do.
You 1 second. I know I interrupt your thought. Sometimes they key thing and way person they talk, I can like for make emphasis. Yeah. Mr. Ba don't talk. One day see the first lady Kojuma Koju one day na in life. So then one day where they talk say na because he want work or na because they look for work from them, he don't answer. He say, I know one day see the first lady na me life Kojuma Koju Koro. He said, as a matter of a fact, the same self with the government, they come in power, he not be even the Salone anymore. So there is no sign of there where they also be for brackets or side where they also meet now one igbale.
Yeah.
Then they unsolved. When I don't hear it from the person in self you might say one day, Kojuma Koju, you know ever see him.
Make a add. I already get a job. I'm a job I do so. I'm a writer. I write books. Before this government kind of power, I don't publish books. Okay? I write books. And besides, I attach to university. Before this government kind of power, I get a fellowship, they do my PhD. Okay? Then I also assist for teaching the same university. So I am employed, basically. That's what I say. Now me work as somebody we engage in academic work, now they earn me my own income, and that's why they get me own money through me writing, me reading, and me study. So I don't go left farm for go find job to somebody. I'm not doing this because I want to make government give me a job. Or everybody within that administration or somebody know almost virtually everybody from the president. I don't meet them. One time I don't write them openly. Say I've met you people, I know them. So if I want what you call one job, because there is a time where we need for talk about political appointment. Say political appointment to job. A job is something you apply for. You apply based on the qualifications where you get. You compete with other people. Right. They interview you. They vet your qualification, your experience, and give you get the job based on you Not always somebody like you a second performance. So national service is not a job per se. Now an assignment with somebody that they give. So these people will talk about saying a job will be one because they've never worked in their lives. They don't know what the job is. You don't understand. So we got to define at times we need programs and for educate them people that made a no difference between a job and a political appointment, or what do you call a national assignment, national service. So, but it come on from this idea that politicians at Sierra Leone, they're not getting nothing what they do other than for where this government kind of power appoint them, for the most part, majority of them, for the most part, get the state, that the umbrella organization, which like people in the function, that's the only way which you get a good salary. For example, how you go explain who the nutrition of the president, they get a salary more than a university professor. You don't understand. And the cameraman of the president for now get over 21 million. A senior lecturer, I know they go up to 20 million before this then promise of increased now. So what we are saying is that now that kind of idea outside the state, the government are the only place where they get good salary and good conditions are basically for loot. Now make people in the field say, when you criticize government, you say one opportunity for the part of the gang for loot. We all want that thing there. We know there's more to life than being part of a kabudu we want for loot national way. They operate this way for loot the treasury for the union itself. So we done the whole government then to account before Madam Fatima Bio meet even Madam Bio as a student in England. We have done this in the days of Tijan Kabad. We've done it for 10 good years under Ernest Kuruma. Madam Bio is even a witness because if you look in Facebook page, you see they may even share some of the writings that what they do. The SLP party newspaper even publish them. So if we do this for wait for job, that job will be wait for from Tijan Kabad in time to now. I mean, impossible. This is 20 years of work. You go to the Salone library, you must, if I calculate the years of what I don't put into writing and trying to hold governments accountable to this point, it's at minimum 20 years. And the evidence is there, including evidence that is distributed by the SLPP, these guys that are currently in power when they were in opposition. Madabio, for example, even shared on his Facebook page, campaign page in 2018, some of the things that were been say about how the APC was running the country. And they supported those messages and writings and voices before even Madam Fatima Bio meet Madam Bio as in potential husband, and before even think about becoming First Lady of Sierra Leone. So Sabi the country, Sabi people who don't become active. That's why he make. So I excuse that statement as a statement coming from ignorance. Sabi me, meet me, and the people that will tell her they misinform her. So she was misinformed about what I represent and what I stand for. So for me, then but perhaps again, not deliberate thing for distract from the actual conversation, because whether somebody wants a job or not, address the question of the current looting of the treasury. Address the question of you and your husband spending more than $1 million, taking money to Lebanon of all places, $1 million. Or you're spending $500,000 on travel in December alone, at a time when people who have their savings in the banks could not even get their own money. So these questions, now the bigger questions, they're not getting nothing to do with me or you, Matilda, or any other student. And the fact of the matter, we have to raise these questions, whether now Mother building a power or any other person. These are right questions that where every person within a power the people of Sierra Leone an answer to. And I want to make we push this campaign for it's about the future of the country, the future of young Pekin and generations yet unborn. People for begin petition them parliamentarians and ask them for demand answers on why this government decide for give, for example, the first lady money where is supposed not entitled to. How much when the president come out and tell the people of Sierra Leone how much money he has spent on international travel, make it publish the whole record of his travel. Make the people if this government is transparent, let them publish the record of the president in travel. If you're not doing we, now that will not begin to do. That's basically what we are doing. We're basically showing the people of Sierra Leone how much of their taxpayers' money has been spent in funding the travel and per diem allowances of the president and the first lady. When the president they travel, for example, where they come America, they take $150 something thousand, and West Bank takes $70,000. Where then go England the first time, the president take $50 something thousand, he take 20 something thousand, take that something thousand pounds, in West take 25,000 pounds as per them. They are going together. So this not only the money where they talk about the account where they use, so and we want this record for be out so the public will know how the monies have been used, and they will know whether this government transparent, whether they get fiscal discipline as they promised, or they have actually cut down on public expenditure. This thing where every country in citizen is supposed to do. In order to do it, whether you are APC, SLPP, NGC, it has to do with Sierra Leoneans. It has to do with citizenship, the right of every citizen for demand from a government, whether that government is your party, your friend, your uncle in power. Because this money we're talking about is not the private property of any individual. It's the national wealth of the country. Okay? So the national wealth of the country has to be used. If you know I made a hold you to account, you have no business trying to manage people's resources. Go into your private practice and do your own private thing. Nobody is going to ask you. But when you come to the question of a country with 8 million people and the future of a country, the people have the right to ask these questions. And when they ask these questions, not because they hate you or they want you to bribe them. No, they want you to run the country the way it's supposed to be run, because your decisions and your actions, they affect millions of people. Look, then they talk about a healthcare worker, a woman who needed urgent medical care. They were raising tiny amount of money, and you get this individual spending this money. Yeah, tiny little bit. People have to go for citizens all over the world. They will begin seeing the collectivized spending, and this is not like one incident. If you check the number of incidents where people don't begin to spend money for help people with health care, from these sick babies, you see these campaigns by Charles, for example, about these sick babies that are going to India every now and then. These young people coming to the street for begin to collect money from drivers on the street. Charles and in group talk about sick children fund, struggling to take care of babies, with some with bad defects, some with tiny little problems, and you get these billions and billions and billions that individuals are stealing, and you get these tiny individuals in a corner because of their party affiliations, their ethnic affiliations, and their regional affiliations. They insult people, and they say we want jobs. That make we talk about these things. people need for thinking, because these kinds of things have consequences, not just for the people who you're governing, even yourself, because you're not going to be in power forever. So the more we talk about these things, the more serious the problem becomes. But I think we all agree on one thing, that for 50 to 60 years now of what we call independence, this situation keeps getting worse. Okay, you make the point, say, do we have to wait until a new government comes? We talk about an inquiry, and some of this evidence get lost in the way. So I think we have an opportunity to face corruption in its life as a living organism. Okay, and because a living organism is so dynamic, it's an opportunity for us to tackle it head on and talk about them. On my part and my team, we've decided that we will provide the evidence of this graph from government records for make people and say, so this thing they happen. We can talk about them, but this is how it's happening. It's like you have a patient that is stubborn and is sick and does not want to admit that he or she is sick. And what you do, you take the person at the theater and force the surgery so they see, sure, this is the disease. So that's what we're doing. That's what this thing is all about. It's about showing the people of Sierra Leone how their monies are being stolen. Not just the idea that it's being stolen, but showing them how it's stolen, who is stealing this money, and the pathways to which that stolen money, travels, and where that money ends up, where it goes, and the consequences of that. It makes sure that we know to get electricity, we know to get good hospitals, we know to get good roads, we know to get quality education, we know to pay teachers, we know to pay doctors, we know to pay nurses. Only a handful of individuals live off these resources. I mean, it doesn't help. So I want to thank you for this opportunity for make we share with the people of Sierra Leone. Let us continue this conversation. Democracy gets better when citizens are engaged, when citizens are able to ask the hard questions to leaders that they elect. I don't say them with a vex. Parties of SRPP supporters with a vex and say, you want to win a power, you want to make so. The same people with the vex so, now that same one be the glad it the whole APC. So we got to be friends. In the final analysis, when the country gets better, we're going to be friends. So we're not taken too hard. It's about the progress of the country. It's about the quality of governance. We want the lifestyle of people for improving the country. We look forward to a better country. We have our kids, we have our families, we are Australians. We want the better for our kids. We don't go through all these challenges. 20 years of the same thing. They take an article where I write 2002, where I read until today. Italic na today writer. Why? Because the conditions that we're talking about still persist. They've gotten worse. So in some cases, just if you remove APC, you put SRPP, if you SRPP in power, it fit exact. So it's unfortunate that we have to be talking about this monumental crisis every now and then. So thank you, Voice of Sierra Leone, for the opportunity. This is wonderful. We thank God that we get this new media. As you see, the challenge with old media nowadays, some of our friends who hosted us in the past cannot do this because apart from the stealing of public resources, there's a serious climate of repression in the country. Some people have been compromised, others are afraid the climate of, So, but we, now with this new age of technology, leaders will understand that they have to live with the culture of democracy, that they cannot merge with people. So, which is what makes VOS and all these other platforms very important. So I salute the kind of work that you do, and we will call on people and for support these kinds of initiatives wherever they exist and we'll multiply them. Because it's only through these opportunities for people who will engage each other and get this kind of dialogue, and then go allow we get to where we want. I strongly believe that any group of people that we properly informed with the right information, then go definitely find out what thing for do for change the conditions under which they live. And that will forfeit for do. Give the people the required information and see what they can do with it. So exactly. I don't know if I don't answer all the questions, but things like that. If you get another question you want to ask me, please feel free. We can wrap them up.
Absolutely. So tell Mr. Ba, boku thank you. I know for say we don't cross the 2-hour margin in this discussion a lot. I again sincerely apologize for the technical difficulties. Some people and they tell me, Matilda, we see you face green. What happened? We know one day see you face green. Okay, we dey get some technical difficulty, but like I promised now, even in the face of this technical difficulty, I wasn't going to back down. I was going to give you, as I promised, an unfiltered conversation with Chernoh Alphaba. I think I don't deliver that tonight, even though I feel we get more for talk. And I go ask Mr. Ba in presence of you all if he will be willing to have an anchor with me again, but not right now, because there's some more coming. And for me, I know for say I like for stagger, I like for put panta. So why they ask me question, then nothing or they left, no stone nor they left unturned. So therefore, make with patient time, make them publish here in team, make them publish 1 or 2 more articles. Then we go look waiting come inside the article and we go add on to waiting we get, add on pantap waiting we get right now. And we go continue this debate, because this is an important discussion where every Sierra Leonean, from Peking to Granny, we all need for be engaged in this conversation. Not to for talk no more. We need for they ask questions. We need for they demand answers, and we need for the see result. To all the one that we say, Matilda, it doesn't matter if even you're looking green, you still look fabulous. Thank you very much for the flat screen. I don't think I look fabulous, but it's all good. And I want to tell the CEO, Boku Teki, I see some of una comments them, una they ask about Mr. Ba in book. I want to say thank you very much to the CEO for publishing, for putting the link to all of his publication, as many as you can find, and the other people themselves where they find in different publications them and they link them, because I see una Boku they show interest, say una one buy in book. Listen, like he says, rightly so, a political appointment, not a job. A job is something where you apply for, and something where you compete for, and something where you qualify for, and something where you get, if you get for meet certain qualifications, for even apply, and then you get for compete, for even get the job. So he is an author. He is a publicist. He writes. This is how he makes his living. He makes his living through public speaking engagement, through writing, through educating the masses. So if we want for tell and thank you, una know me. The best way for tell a man thank you and for making ongo support what he's doing. He's got books out there. Buy the books. No go call him and say, hey, Mr. Ba, do you beg, send me your book no. No, send me your book no, they pay. Then they not doing they put food in table. He is a father. He is a husband. He is a son, which means he's got responsibilities. So if you want to do good by him, buy him book. Buy him books them. Read. Educate yourself. When I know say I can always say educate. That is why in as much as sometimes I can bad with the Creole, I not can tire. They force myself for talk and tiggy one. So that we all go come to a common understanding. Even as I close, Mr. Ban make a statement, in January 25th article, we say the total amount of money allocated to the first lady for the first 2 days launching ceremony of the Hands Up Our Girls campaign alone, for instance, is 4 times more than the combined annual salary of all 40 of the senior procurement officers in the public procurement department assigned across all ministries, agencies, and departments. With monthly salary between $140 and $160, the total combined salaries of all 40 senior procurement officers in the national workforce is $5,580,000. Sleep with that tonight. Think about it. Sleep with those figures tonight. Think about it. Who Sierra Leone you want left for you picking them? Who Sierra Leone you want to make your grandpicking them see? Who Sierra Leone you want for tell you grandpicking them but? You decide. Mr. Ba, I promised you, I promised the world, I promised Sierra Leonean an unfiltered conversation. Thank you very much for delivering. Thank you very much for standing in your truth and being honest. Me fumble them. We the left and so today. We go come back next step and we go continue.